今回の動画では7つの習慣を世界76カ国に展開させたロイスクルーガーがシャネル株式会社代表取締役社長のリシャール・コラス氏にインタビューを行います。フランス出身のリシャール・コラス氏はシャネルの社長を30年以上にわたって務めながらもサヤなどの小説を執筆し、小説家としても大活躍しています。またプライベートではハーレーが大好きなリシャール氏。世界的な経営者でありながら謙虚さを持ち人間的魅力にあふれるリシャール・コラス氏のインタビューをぜひお楽しみください。
はい、よろしくお願いします。It's good to see you, Royce.
Good to see you. Today we want to talk about you.
Oh my God, it's
so
not
much
a
your
very
business.
interesting subject.
Oh, it's a great subject. So, we met in Singapore years ago.
Many years ago, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was a very interesting experience. I got to know you as a businessman.
Mm-hmm.
And then over the years I got to know you as a real nice human being.
Oh my God, it starts in a very bad way.
Oh, you are. You're very special. So I would like to do just a little historical sketch, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
You have this unique accent, and it's not Japanese and it's not English.
No, of course not. I'm French. So.
You're French, and where were you born in France? Or give us a little history and background.
So,
how did you get out here? And
I
so
was
forth?
born in southern France, but we left the area very quickly because my father was a pilot during World War II at the Royal Air Force in Great Britain. And he entered Air France as a pilot. So we went to Paris, where I lived until I was 6, 7. And then he was asked by Air France to go to Morocco.
Morocco, yes.
Yeah, which had just got independent, and to help the Moroccan Airlines, which has just been created, to fly the planes because they didn't have any pilots at that time, and to train the Moroccan pilots.
Yeah.
And he had a contract for 2 years, but the family loved the country so much that we stayed
there
10 years until I graduated from high school. And then he reincorporated Air France for the last 10 years of his flying life. And I came to Japan, actually, I was 17 years old. That was my first trip to Japan. And I immediately fell in love with the country.
Yeah.
And I say with the country because what people say, you found a girlfriend. I say, no, the Japanese girlfriend came later. And I decided, because I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I am not a businessman by nature. I was not trained to be a businessman. My father was a pilot, nothing to do with normal business life. His job was to fly safely a plane from a place that he was told to fly from to a place where it was told to go to. And for him, it was something very easy to understand, but he wouldn't understand what a businessman would do sitting all day long in an office. He never understood exactly what I was doing, actually. But I wanted to, as I was a good writer. I already wrote some theater pieces when I was quite young. And I said to myself, maybe I could be a journalist or a diplomat, because in France there is a very old tradition of diplomats being novelists, very famous novelists.
Very interesting.
So as I came to Japan and I fell in love with the country, I decided to go to political sciences on one side and to do what we call the Oriental Languages School, because from there is a specific entry to the civil service and to the foreign service, which is called the Oriental Service. And so I learned Japanese as my first language, Oriental language, and Korean as my second Oriental language. And then I was sent to the French embassy when I graduated for a couple of years, and I discovered that diplomacy was not exactly what I wanted to do. I'm not a very good diplomat by nature. And that's when I switched to the private sector. And I had everything to learn, of course, because I was not, as I said, trained as a businessman. And well, I was very lucky because I joined this wonderful luxury industry, French luxury industry, after a few years, after actually 2 years. And I have been with Chanel for 32 years now.
32 years.
Yeah, out of which 22 has the guy in charge of this Japanese company.
So 32 years in the same company.
Yep.
What has the ride been like? What is the...
It's been a lot of pleasure. I mean, I was first in charge here in Japan of the cosmetics business for about 8 years. And that were the years when I joined the company in 85. So that when the years when, the foreign cosmetic brand business was exploding. We were at that time very small when I joined, and in no time, in less than 8 years, we succeeded in becoming, in the department stores business where we are, becoming the number 2 brand. Now we are the number 1 brand, but we used to be the number 2 brand. And then my boss said, okay, Richard, why don't you come to Hong Kong? And I was regional for 2 years in Hong Kong. It was before reversion, before Hong Kong was given back to China.
Yes.
It was very interesting, exciting time, of course, because that were the last years of the British Empire, if I may say so. China was absolutely not yet open to the kind of business we have, but I went to see China a couple of times. I mean, it was in between 93 and 95, so it was a long time ago, 20 years ago. And then
vastly different.
It was very different. It was very different. It was very, very interesting. And I was in charge of developing Asia. We opened Taiwan as a Chanel company. We opened Korea as a Chanel company. Hong Kong was already there, and Singapore was already there. So we developed the business in Asia, which was also very exciting. But, my heart and my roots are deep in Japan. And after 2 years, they asked me whether I would like to be in charge of the Japanese market, which I accepted. And since then, I have been in charge, and we've had a wonderful time, and the company has grown very well.
Looking at it from a business perspective, looking at it from what you did in business, what are 1 or 2 things that you did that really made a difference, that made you a good manager or allowed you to get higher productivity? You're obviously growing the business. You were influencing that. What were some things that you did to do that?
Well, I tried, and I still try, because I'm not sure I succeeded, to be not a manager but a leader. Managers, I have wonderful managers around me, and one of my jobs was to make sure that I had wonderful managers around me. So hiring the right people, getting the right people to join, which I think is very important, so that I can rely on my people to run the business on a daily basis and be what I think I am meant for, which is to give ideas, to give drive, to give passion to the people, to help them understand the vision. And our vision in our company, in that respect, is very easy, because we have one single owner. It's one shareholder. It's owned by one person we know. It's the 3rd generation of owners. So in that respect, and he has a very clear vision of what he wants Chanel to be. I have been working with him for 32nd year now, and he has never changed his vision. So in that respect, driving people is not that complicated in our company. But I think that is my job, is to give impulse to people, to help them share the passion that I have for this beautiful house, for our founder, who has an incredible lady, and for the beautiful brand and the wonderful products that we are selling. So I think that in our industry, passion is very important. Passion is very important, and probably passion is very important in any industry. When you talk with passion to people, they understand what you want.
Vision aligned with what your owner wants. So I assume your vision is very complementary to that in Japan.
Yes, I mean, my vision in Japan has been, of course, to develop the business, but in a way that would never harm the brand, because, it's easy to harm such a big brand. by doing silly things, you know.
Such as, what would be a silly thing?
One silly thing that you can do, especially in our cosmetics industry, is to push products to the retail because you have to make the numbers at the end of the year. And then, of course, your point of sales are stuffed with products they don't know what to do with. I mean, it's one very classic way of doing business in the cosmetics industry. We have never wanted that. I've always been very, very careful with the numbers of the stock level at point of sales, that it never is too big. Our strategy is never push. It's a pull strategy. A pull strategy is to get the customer to understand what we are, what we do, what our products are, and to make sure that they understand that what we want to say for our brand.
And what has the results been because of that?
Well, as I said, we have succeeded in becoming the number one brand in the department stores cosmetic department. In fashion, we have grown to a tremendous size, and we are keeping on growing. Last year, for example, was the best year of Chanel in Japan.